up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Powerhouse Mentality Podcast. I'm your host, I'm Caitlin Kenna, and guys, it's been a hot minute. This is the first podcast of 2022 and the first podcast in over a month, so I can explain. What happened was, for the holidays, me and my boyfriend Stone, we went to Texas to visit his family. We stayed there for 2 weeks. I didn't bring my podcast equipment with me, and I was really just focusing on being present. And then when we got back on the day after New Year's, me and him jumped into the Live Hard program. He started 75 Hard for the first time, and I started phase 1. So I'm on day 20 of phase 1. But along with that, on January 10th, my team, my clients are running an 8-week challenge with First Form to really help people gain better habits, healthier habits for the new year, and truly transform their life and change their life entirely. Not just with fitness and nutrition, but when it comes to mindset, mental toughness, discipline. And you can all be a part of that in my Facebook community. And I put the link in the Facebook community in the show notes after every single episode. It's free to join. And you get a lot more content, a lot more value, education than just this podcast alone. It's kind of just a way to be not just in a community of support, but have more one-on-one advisement from myself. Focused on nutrition, focused on fitness, but of course mental toughness and mindset is a huge part of the things that I teach, because I truly believe that it's the foundation behind anything in life. If you want to be better in your career, if you want to be better with your nutrition, if you want to be better with your fitness, it all starts with mindset and mental toughness and discipline, because we're in the new year, and a lot of people right now, we're about 3 weeks in, almost on the 4th week of 2022. A lot of people are starting to fall off. A lot of people are starting to lose momentum. But there are a lot of people who are gaining momentum, and a lot of people who are really starting to earn results and see progress with whatever their New Year's resolution was. And there's a difference between those two people. The first group of people who are starting to fall off, they mainly rely on motivation. And when you can rely on motivation, it's kind of like relying on a friend who never shows up when they're supposed to. Everybody knows that person who you can't really rely on. We all have that friend. And if you don't have that friend, that means it's you. So you should probably be careful. But, if you're relying on motivation all the time, usually you're going to be let down, because motivation is fleeting. And if I didn't do the things that I wanted to do or needed to do when I wasn't motivated to do them, then I wouldn't be anywhere in life. For example, I have a garage gym. I do a lot of CrossFit. That's primarily my style of training. I want to do CrossFit competitions this year. That's one of my goals for 2022, is to finally take the leap and compete, because, I put in work every day. I'm in that garage for 2 to 3 hours a day, just working on conditioning, working on lifting, working on strength. And it's been, like today, it's 20 degrees, snow all over the place. We do not have a heater in our garage. You think I'm motivated to go out and do that? Absolutely not. Now, are there some days where I'm more motivated than others? Of course. But that's not the norm. So if you're relying on motivation, then chances are you are not going to be able to achieve the things that you want in life. Because when you hit a tough day, when you hit a day where life kind of throws shit in your face, which it's inevitable, guys, it'll happen, it's just part of life, then you're not going to be able to overcome, because you're not going to feel like doing the things that you need to do, and you're not going to be motivated, and you're just going to sit on your ass. Now, the second group of people, the people who are starting to earn results and starting to see progress in their goals, those are the people who are not just relying on motivation. Those are the people who are living by discipline. And every time that they go out and they do the things that they don't want to do, and they do them anyway, with full intent, they build a little bit more discipline. It's kind of like earning points, right? It's like if you're playing a video game and you're kind of collecting coins, right? You're collecting discipline coins every single time that you go out and do the shit that you don't want to do, that you know is going to make you better and get you closer to where you want to be. So, hey, if it's freezing cold outside and I'm on 75 Hard or I'm on phase 1 and I need to do that 45-minute outdoor workout, but that's the absolute last thing I want to do is go outside and freeze my ass off and walk in the snow with a weighted vest on and get people staring at me. But I do it anyway. I just collected a couple of discipline coins and I put them in my back pocket. But the thing is, discipline also fleets. It's like a muscle. If you don't train it, it's not going to improve. And if you don't train it over time, it becomes less. So you have to continue to get outside of your comfort zone in order to grow in any area of life. Now, I know, getting uncomfortable, it's not the most exciting thing. We don't always love it. But when you can get uncomfortable on a daily basis, that's when you start to become 1% better every day. And you don't have to go out and dominate the world every day if you're trying to accomplish a goal. But all that you have to do is go out and lay a brick every day. Because, we all have these goals that we want to accomplish in the new year, right? At the beginning of the new year, you sat down, you wrote out a list of a couple things that you want to accomplish by the end of the year. Now, visualize 6 months later. It's the summer of 2022, and you stuck to the diet. You continued to go to the gym. You continued to work on your personal development and started to really actually put in more effort towards your job, right? And look for ways to be the best at what you do. You got the promotion. You have the dream body that you've always wanted. You lost the 10 pounds that you've been trying to lose for 5 years. But none of that happens unless you take one step at a time. Guys, it's an analogy that you've probably heard multiple times, but you can't run a marathon unless you take the first step. You can't read a book unless you read the first page, right? That's true, but what happens after the first step or after the first page? You have to continue to read one page at a time until you get to the end of that book. With a marathon, you have to keep taking one step at a time. And that's how you finish the marathon. That's how you get to the finish line. That's how you achieve anything in life. One step at a time. I've been telling my people on my team who are starting off on this fitness journey, right? There's a lot of different things that they're doing in their day-to-day life, right? They're managing their nutrition, they're tracking what they're eating, they're focusing more on protein, they're drinking more water, they're getting in more movement, they're focusing on foundational health through micronutrients and probiotics, and they're taking better care of not just their physical health, but their mental health through gratitude and journaling and things of that nature. But, when you look at the big picture and you're like, oh, well, I want to lose 20 pounds, I want to lose 60 pounds, that can be overwhelming. It's like if you were to drive up to an empty plot of land on January 1st, and you took a step back and you looked at this beautiful plot of land, you said, I'm going to build a big, beautiful brick home here. And that's the goal. But that goal doesn't happen unless you lay one brick at a time. And after 2-3 weeks, you've been laying these bricks every day, you've been building up that house every day, and you're starting to feel frustrated. You're starting to feel like you're not making any sort of progress towards the house because this is taking so much longer than you thought it would, and it's taking a lot more work than you ever believed it could. Don't focus on how long it's going to take to get there. Don't focus on what you have to do tomorrow or what you have to do next week. Focus on today. It's literally one day at a time, one good decision at a time, one good meal at a time, one task at a time, 1 hour at a time. Guys, one foot in front of the other. There are some days, and there have been some days this week, because I haven't been feeling my best, where I literally wake up and it's left foot, right foot, one task, okay, another task, okay, I got through that, another task, and putting everything that you have into that moment. No matter what you're doing, being intentional, because intent is the difference between winning and dominating at anything that you want in life. So, my message to you for the new year is I have 3 things that I want to discuss. 3 things that I want you to remember every single day in the pursuit of your goals, because it's hard. It's not going to be easy. I promise you, no matter what your goal is that you're setting out to chase this year, if you're expecting it to be easy, then you're setting yourself up for failure. And if you're hoping and wishing that 2022 is going to be a better year than 2021, and you haven't changed shit, then it's going to be the same year that you've been living for the past 5 years. Nothing changes unless you change, and you can't accomplish a change in your life unless you change your life. Something's got to give. But guys, if you can take it, like I said, one day at a time. I tell my people in this challenge, there's 56 days in this challenge. The only day that matters is today. And then you wake up tomorrow and you say the same damn thing. Win today. Wake up the next day, win today. And if you can win one day, you can win them all. And even on the tough days, because the tough days are going to happen, there are going to be some days where you go to lay that brick down and the brick is all fucked up and it's all messed up. Or there are going to be some days where you just physically can't even pick up that brick to lay it as you're building that house. But that's okay. It happens. Tough days will happen. And even if you fuck up and fail, in order to be successful, guys, you got to double your rate of failure, and you can't be afraid to fail. Because failure is inevitable. You have to embrace the failure. You have to get back up, dust yourself off, and then approach the situation at a different angle and say, okay, cool, it didn't work when I did it this way, so how can I do it differently to make sure that I win today? Okay? That's what it's all about. Tough days will happen, but you can always find a way to win on those days, I promise you. It's going to take a little bit more. It's going to take a little bit more effort, grit, fortitude. Some days it's going to feel like you're pulling teeth or you're trudging through mud, but even on those days, you can win. You can keep going, and that's the days where really, really you need to focus on left foot, right foot. Okay? Because those days matter the most. Because when you win on those days, you start to realize that you're capable of much more than you probably thought you were. And all the barriers that you built up in front of yourself don't actually exist. So, this year, take it one day at a time. Just win today. Okay? Because at the beginning of the year, you have excitement. And that excitement starts to die down moving into week 2, week 3, week 4 of the new year. And you realize how tough this is going to be. But when it gets this tough, don't stop. Because you're almost there. You're building momentum. And you're going to hit that momentum. And you're going to catch momentum. And it's going to feel absolutely incredible. But even when you hit momentum, you will have tough days. But those tough days, you'll be able to get through them a lot easier because you've built the discipline and you earned the discipline. And then you start to earn confidence. And then that's really when you start to make progress. But guys, there's 3 things that I talked about this week in my private Facebook group. Okay, 3 things as we're moving into, this is officially week 2 of the 8-week challenge that I'm coaching. Okay, and on week 2, it's kind of like with the new year where that excitement kind of starts dying down from that initial excitement from week 1. You realize how tough it's going to be, and there are 3 things this week that I told my people I want them to remind themselves of every single morning when they wake up. 3 things. All right? 1, keep the promises you make to yourself. 2, focus on what you can control. And 3, the success lies in the basics. Okay, now we're going to bounce back to number 1. And I've preached on this many times. Guys, you got to keep the promises you make to yourself. No matter what. No one likes a promise breaker. We all, again, going back to the motivation friend, we all have that friend who says, oh, I'll be there, and then they don't show up and they change plans at the last minute. Don't be that person. I guarantee you that when you tell somebody you're going to meet them for lunch at noon, you're there at 11:55. You're keeping the promises you're making to everyone else, but why aren't you keeping the promises that you make to yourself? Don't lower your standards to how you feel in a weak moment. Rise up to your standards. Set the standards high, and when you feel like shit, you rise up to them. You don't fall down. If you tell yourself you're going to wake up at 5 a.m. to get that workout in because you know that you won't be able to get it in at any other time, when that alarm goes off at 4:30 and bed is nice and toasty and it's freezing outside, you say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get the fuck up, and you keep that promise to yourself. Because if you continue to break promises to yourself, you're going to continue to move backwards. Because in life, we don't stay stagnant. We move forward or we move backwards. Every decision and choice that we make on a daily basis is either taking us closer to where we want to be or further away. And most people, when they're so far off from their goals and they feel like they just don't know what they're doing in life and they don't have that focus and they feel like everything is going wrong, it's usually built on broken promises. So keep the promises that you make to yourself. Every single day, wake up, look at yourself in the mirror and say, today I'm going to keep the promises I make to myself. And do that no matter what. And when life throws you shit, you pivot, you adjust, and you keep that promise to yourself no matter what. Because when you continue to keep the promises you make to yourself, again, you start seeing progress. Results are contagious. You start earning results in any area that you're working towards But more than anything, you start earning confidence. And with confidence, that trickles into all areas of your life. And a confident person, they can't be stopped. There's no better feeling than being confident that you're putting in the work every day. Because action cures everything. Nobody likes self-doubt. Number 2, focus on what you can control. You can control 3 things: your attitude, your effort, and your actions. With your attitude, guys, you can wake up and you can have a positive perspective. No more of that negative bullshit. All right? Because when it rains, it pours. The law of attraction is real. If you're putting out negative energy into the universe, you're damn right you're going to get negative in return. So what you need to do is you need to have a positive outlook and perspective even on the hardest things in life. And sometimes it's really hard to find the light in a situation, but it's always there. You know, there are going to be times in your life where you're on your hands and knees and you're praying to God for strength. And you know what God's going to do? He's going to give you more struggle and more hardship because that's going to make you stronger. Okay? So everything that goes wrong in your life, look at it from a positive perspective because this is going to make me stronger so I can overcome more. All right? Every single day, I want you to wake up, and when you tell yourself that you're going to keep the promises you make to yourself, I also want you to remind yourself that today has the potential to be the best day of your life because it does. And you make it a great day through your attitude because perspective drives performance. You can also control your effort. You know, you can be the best damn worker in the room no matter what you're doing. Whether you're changing lives, whether you're a doctor, you know, whether you're a media person, whether you're flipping burgers at McDonald's. Guys, you control if you're the hardest worker. Put effort and intent behind everything that you do. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. How you do the little things is how you do everything. Remember that. And the last thing you can control is your actions. So you get to control if the actions that you take on a daily basis are, again, taking you closer to your goals or further away from your goals. Action. Action cures everything. You can't control everything, right? But you can always control how you react and what your perspective is towards every situation. Because the reason you are where you are in life, whether it's where you want to be or not, is 100% because of you, not because of your boss, not because of the bullshit that happened in your life, not because of the circumstances. Stop being a victim of your life because you'll never move forward until you can actually take responsibility. And hey, guys, it might be morbid, but every single day that you wake up, you have one less day on this earth. So stop wasting your time by blaming everybody else. Take responsibility. Number 3, and the final thing, the success lies in the basics. Okay, and as I'm teaching people in this 8-week challenge how to improve their health and fitness and how to reach their goals, the basics that we focus on is protein, calories, water, and movement. All right, so if you're trying to achieve a fitness goal or a nutrition goal, those 4 things are the basics, and the success lies in those basics. And if you can stress the basics and express extreme discipline to them, then you're going to reach your goal. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 2 weeks. But if you take it one day at a time, it's going to happen. I promise you. If you're trying to get better in your career, if you're trying to get better in any area of your life, the success lies in the basics. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overwhelm yourself. Stress the basics and express extreme discipline to them. Execute. Execute your plan. Whatever your process is to get to where you want to go, wake up every day and just execute. Because it doesn't happen unless you put the work in. And the hard work comes before the belief. So you may not believe in yourself right now, but if you keep putting in that work, one day at a time, one good decision at a time, you're going to start to believe. And then you're unstoppable. So again, the 3 things I want you guys to focus on. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Focus on what you can control, your attitude, effort, and actions. And the success lies in the basics. Guys, I hope that podcast helped you. Okay? 2022, it's a new year, but nothing changes unless you make a change. So stop wishing and hoping for this year to be better and actually go out and make it better. And if you guys need any help, I'll put my Facebook group in the show notes below. I always put my Instagram, I put my email. Reach out to me. I'm here. I want to help you. Okay, I advise people for free in the First Form app. Okay? The app is $12.99 a month. $12.99 a month. It's worth it to not just get your nutrition and fitness on track, get workouts, get macros, things like that, but also to have one-on-one access to me as your advisor to help hold you accountable and keep you on the line and help you keep the promises you make to yourself so you can finally make this the year that you achieve your goals. All right? Those 10 pounds that you've been trying to lose for 5 years, hi, we can get those off real quick if you join my team, Team Killa Kenna. But guys, I have one more announcement before I go, and that is I'm very excited to announce that we're going to be bringing back on this podcast, we're going to be bringing in a separate segment called KK Fit Talk, featuring myself and my man Chris Corbin. Now, Chris Corbin was on an episode of the podcast. I interviewed him about his weight loss journey, his journey in fitness. If you haven't listened to it already, go back and listen to it. It's a couple episodes back. Me and Chris we get along very well together. We vibe really well together. We have a great chemistry. And we used to do what we would call KK Fit Talks on Facebook Lives. And now, since I have the podcast platform, we're going to bring you guys advice, experience when it comes to fitness and nutrition. We are not doctors. We just have a lot of experience behind us, a lot of certifications, a lot of knowledge, and we're going to help you guys not just learn the basics, but learn from our mistakes and learn from our clients' mistakes so we can help you succeed and educate you more on not just your mindset, not just your mental toughness, but your fitness and your nutrition. So guys, if you have any questions, please send them to the email. Shoot me a message on Instagram, however you want to get a hold of me. Go out today and do one thing that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be in life.